Welcome to the Middle AGEish podcast, authentically and unapologetically keeping it real, discussing all things middle-age-ish, a time when metabolism slows and confidence grows. Join fashion and fitness entrepreneur Ashley Badowski, former Celtic woman and founder of the Lisa Kelly Voice Academy, Lisa Kelly, licensed psychologist and mental health expert, Dr. Pam Wright, and highly sought-after cosmetic injector and board-certified nurse practitioner, Trisha Kennedy Roman. Join your hosts on the journey of Middle AGEish.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Middle AGEish. My name is Trisha Kennedy Roman, and I'm joined here today with my co-host, Ashley Badowski, Lisa Kelly, and Dr. Pam Wright. And you are joining us for our sofa talk.
Yay!
We love it.
I love this.
I say that every single time.
I know. So happy.
So much fun.
I have my deeper, sexy sinus
do.
voice tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope I can make it through with my voice going the whole time.
You sound hot.
Isn't it funny how we sound hot when we get sick?
Oh, yeah.
Do I sound like I'm
baby.
5'10"?
Yeah, you
Bring me
sexy
some
thing, you.
Tylenol.
I mean, it really is. Like, did you guys ever see Friends when Monica was sick and she did like the Vicks and she's like, "Come here, you sexy thing."
The Vicks
I mean,
Vapor
I know.
Fun.
I mean, why is it? I mean, some of us, well, not some people, are blessed with a raspy voice. I, however, am not.
No.
And
Same.
I only sound like that when I'm literally on death's door. And that's so unfair because even Michael will be like, hey. And I'm kind of like,
Hey, at least you'll go out hot.
hey.
Ashley will go out hot. She'll be like,
I mean, literally in the Monica from Friends
that was so
situation, I will have my robe on. My hair will be just looking like I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I will have that sexy voice. And yeah, Mike will be like, hey.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
So when you were in school, did you dress up and put on makeup every day? And like, you know what I mean? Dress up and put on makeup every day before you left the house.
Oh gosh. I feel like
I bet Ashley did.
I was like, I feel like I did. I can't necessarily remember.
I went to an all girls school. There was no need.
No point.
Yeah.
Why bother?
I might have like had, because there was a big thing like in the early 90s, like wearing like boxer shorts and a like sweatshirt and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would do that. But yeah, more than likely.
You were allowed to wear that to school.
Yeah.
Yes.
No dress code.
Well, but in college, but actually we actually did that in high school. So it would have been like 88 or 89. We had, I don't even know what we had going on that day, but it was like, no, I literally wore my really good friend's boxer shorts and a sweatshirt and my high top Reeboks.
I was gonna say,
Because I was so cool.
Now,
but I
can
will
you
have
imagine
to say, I
Ashley?
do think that I always would have had my hair done and like makeup.
I feel like you just like going to the airport. You're not going in your like Lululemon.
Oh my God.
You're going in like, so I feel like that's the way we were. Like we would go every day. Like if I went to cheer practice, I would be like, dressed up with makeup. But now it's like, it's so funny. Like this generation and my daughter.
It is bizarre.
Like when you're like, when she's cheering and she goes to her game, she's like all makeup, da, da, da. And then when she goes to like class, it's just like, but we wanted to look the same in every environment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
No, totally.
If I get up to brush my teeth, I want to look like I am like in full makeup, like going to
1,000%.
brush my teeth, right? And they're just, it's so funny. It's like they can look one way when they're going out on the party with it. And you're like, oh my God, look at her. And then you see her like in real life, they're like, oh my God.
Like, who is
you know what
that?
I mean? Yes. But I think that they are so different with their makeup. Not
Yeah.
makeup.
No, that's such a good point.
We're going to class, but like, I feel like every time I went to school, I was like,
Well, I think that you
with
just sang the
makeup.
airport because 1,000% I'll be in
Yes.
4.5 inch heels. I have never flown anywhere in my entire life.
And honestly, I've been on so many
Without
flights lately, and I think about you, and I'm like, oh gosh, Ashley would be here and like dressed up, and like, I'd be like, everybody would be like, oh my God, look at this girl.
Well, yeah, she's abnormally tall because with like 4 or 5 inch heels, I'm like a good 6'4", 6'5". But 1,000%,
I'm looking at people with like flannel pajamas and Ugg slippers and no makeup, and they look like they just like woke up and like rolled out to the airport, and I'm like, wow, it's very different than it used to be.
Oh,
So
yeah.
different.
No, I've taken that from like when we would fly in the 80s. Like it was like literally my dad would be in like khakis, a sport coat.
Yes.
I mean, it was like
it was a big deal to fly.
it was. Yeah, it was like a super
You're
big
right.
deal, and I have never given up on that. So I mean,
You're
seriously.
so good because I just feel the planes are so dirty that I shouldn't give them my nice clothes. Like,
so
do you know what
funny.
I mean? Like, I think years ago in the 80s and 90s, it was such a luxury to travel, and it was so luxurious when
And
we
it
got on
was.
the planes.
It really
But
was.
now, like, you're sitting down, you're picking up goldfish crackers off and whatever else. Gross. So they don't
Can't
get my
stand
good
plain
clothes.
bathrooms. So
They're
gross.
so disgusting, and they're definitely getting smaller. Like, or I'm getting bigger.
I mean, okay, I have to
smaller.
say, because I mean, it takes an act of God, which at this point in our lives, as we all talked about, our pelvic floor, and
Yes,
act of God does happen.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like over 3 hours, you're just going to have to, or at least Ashley has to go to the bathroom.
Same.
And again, it's not like I'm a short person.
Nope.
But I become like a gymnast. Like trying to maneuver in there. So I totally agree, Lisa. I feel like that they're
so much smaller.
They've
They
like,
are.
like they put 2 rows in and cut back the bathroom.
Try change a baby's nappy in there. Diaper.
Absolutely
Is
not.
the Mile High Club a myth then? Because I can't even fit in there myself.
For me and my husband, I mean, he's 6'5", and again with heels, and we all know that I fly in heels, so I'm a good 6'4". I would be a world-class gymnast.
Scott and I are 5'6", and there's still no way.
Let's see this.
Because I will tell you, like, there was one time, like, probably, like, I don't know, it had to have been a couple of years ago, and Michael and I would be joking about it or whatever, because, I mean, God, we've been together, like, since the beginning of Christ, but we joke about it, and, like, so now, like, every so often, if I have to go to the bathroom, you know, I will literally, like, I don't know if anyone can hear outside the bathroom, but I'm giggling, because I'm like, I cannot pull my pants down myself in this super tiny room.
So small.
So how do these people have sex in here? Like,
I don't think they do anymore.
Yeah.
So they were bigger bathrooms back in the
Oh
day.
yeah, they're so small. But it's so funny because now I get on a plane, I'm like, oh yay, I'm on the aisle. I used to be like, I want the like the window seat.
I
want
have to have the window seat.
No, now I'm like,
I don't want to have to ask to go to the
I can get up and go to the bathroom.
Well, but Michael and I
nobody
always
is.
sit side by side. So there's that.
Oh, yeah, but if you're in a 3-seat.
We knew who's flying first class around here.
So
So we just sit side by side. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
He flies our plane.
So did I tell you my flight story where the girl next to me would not get off the phone?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to come back and deboard the plane. And
I would
she
be
refused
so
to get
pissed off.
at literally midnight. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
and she's like,
furious.
and literally after they told her, like, okay, we're turning around because you're not respecting the rules. And then she refused to get off a plane. So we all had to deplane
That's crazy.
at midnight.
I'm
And
telling
like,
you,
why are
entitlement
people
is such
doing
an
this?
illness, and they're
Like,
such assholes.
If they tell you to get off the phone, just get off the phone. Just hang up the phone.
Like, none of us
And like
are on the
I was
phone.
sitting
Get
next
off
to
the
her.
phone.
She was talking to like a boy about like what's
No,
like,
it's because she has
literally, come on.
absolutely no empathy,
ridiculous.
and she's just an asshole.
I would never. My parents would literally hang me.
Oh my gosh.
Probably in the airport.
Can you imagine?
They
if-
would hang me in the airport.
Yeah, if you're just like, no.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get off the phone. No, we're good.
Yeah.
I do feel the behavior's gotten really bad on planes.
I agree. Oh,
I do feel really bad for the stewardess.
I feel bad for, like
yeah,
the flight attendants.
yeah.
It's
I've heard
awful.
so many stories
Yeah.
from them because, like, not a lot, but I've had several over the years that have like worked at the store with me when they were going through college, and they are,
Sad.
they fly now, and their stories, and it's shocking how absolutely just
Entitled.
and entitled, and there's just like almost like no soul like for this behavior and how they treat people that they feel.
Yep.
I don't know, like who knows, but I don't know who raised those
That's
little
shocking.
nightmares.
You can really judge character by the way they treat airline staff
1,000%.
and waitresses.
You can
and
always
waiters.
tell
Yeah.
someone's character is how they treat. Yeah, 1,000%, Lisa.
I read something on people. I don't know if we talked about this, but there was a guy that was sitting next to a girl and she was like a little bit heavier. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting next to this like fat girl. Did it like went off, like was going off on her. And the guy behind could read what he was saying.
Oh my.
And he literally said, let's switch seats. And the guy's like, why do you want to switch seats with me? He's like, because I read what you just read about her and she read what you read about her and she's crying. And I want to switch seats so I can like be there to comfort her.
I mean, how do
And I
people
was
just
like,
not
oh my
have
gosh,
souls?
How do you
seriously?
like talk bad about somebody like to your partner,
Because
whoever?
it's not like he's like some supermodel.
Oh yeah.
Not that would even justify it, but that
how
he's some kind of
awful.
miserable human being who's
Right.
probably just Like, it's not like he's some amazing specimen.
But to read somebody write something awful about you, you're just sitting next to them. You haven't interacted. They don't know you. They don't know, like, anything. Like, how are you?
But that's like, like, how do you, like, that's something that you feel that you have the right to write.
Exactly.
Sure. Like, there's no self-awareness. And again, there's just no empathy.
I agree.
You know? I mean, why are we to this point in our lives that we're like just kind of looking around us and we're like, this is a cesspool of nonsense?
Yeah. I think it's just so easy to voice your issues, concerns, voice whatever over like text or like Instagram or Facebook without it being like, you're not looking in the face of the person saying like, hey, you know, you're not calling
because
somebody
can you
like
imagine
whatever,
back in
right?
the 80s and early 90s, mid 90s, before all of this stuff happened, if you looked at someone and was like, oh, I can't sit next to you because you're overweight. Like, can you even imagine?
No.
Because before it came out of your mouth, you would be like, that's not the thing to say. That's not right. Where's some self-awareness?
But it's cowardly to hide behind a phone.
Ugh, it's so,
or an iPad
it's
or
so
what else.
disgusting. Just this world.
It's very sad.
The delusionment.
There is not enough Tito's to heal this cesspool of nonsense.
Just like reading the news.
Because trust me, I'm trying and it's not working.
Just like reading the news about Diddy and everybody else. And we're like,
the diddler.
How is this happening? This is just ridiculous.
I mean, it's like we've said so many times, if we wake up and realize that we're in a like some type of bad B movie, I would not be surprised. Like the Truman Show, but even a worse version of the Truman Show.
Oh,
like
way worse.
This cannot be our reality, to be honest.
No.
I feel like
if it is, I don't want to be a part of it.
Every day is something new. I always tell my clients, I'm like, just don't watch the news. If it's bothering you, just don't watch the news. Just turn it off.
Well, that is true. You do have the power to just turn it off.
Yeah,
you do have the
but
power
the crazy thing is like I've turned it off, but it's still you still see nonsense on a daily basis.
Yeah, and we're dealing with people all the time.
Right.
Everyone here is dealing
we're
with
all
people.
in customer service in some capacity. And so like, because that's how I was too. Like I have gone completely, like I don't watch the news. I don't listen to like, I listen to my 80s.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It takes me back to a really nice place.
That's nice.
It's so upsetting.
But yeah, you still have to deal with like that entitlement. And I really do think that it's like a sin, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be one of the commandments. Like, don't be entitled.
Don't be a dick.
Right. Yeah. Don't be a dick.
Exactly.
I have a shirt that says that.
Oh my God.
I wear it on a regular basis.
All right, you guys, we might need to make our own t-shirts. Don't be a dick. And we're going to put them on the website and we're going to sell them for.
She already does.
Well, I want it to be us. So like, don't be a dick.
Middle AGEish says.
Middle age.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Don't be a dick.
That is so.
Yeah,
that
I
actually
say
would
that
make
quite a lot under my breath. Oh, you're such a dick.
How do you,
But isn't it like the facial expressions? Like I love, have you guys seen those memes from Schitt's Creek? I freaking love Schitt's Creek, but like how they like their facial expressions.
Exactly.
She can get away with saying everything.
I know.
Yeah.
And I just feel
So true.
that's kind of like we think that we all know that I'm not incognito because like the first 3 seconds I'll like cross my face, you're going to know exactly what I'm thinking. But
yeah, no, I've got a good show face. I can
you do.
take it
For a bit. I kind of given up on it because at
But
this
you
point,
have such good empathy. So when you read stuff that bothers you, like how does it resonate? Because like even us talking about even before we went on about all the stuff going on with like Diddy and stuff, like doesn't that just
I don't know. I think I've gotten so used to reading different things, even about like even down to reviews. When you used to shows, you just read some really awful things, or like YouTube comments. Like that was the first thing that. So I'm actually very good at kind of shutting out toxicity. I'm pretty good at that. I'm also I can be very obsessive. So I like there's like an anonymous Irish dance board.
anything anonymous, you already know.
But this is horrific.
No,
like it's
sad.
absolutely horrific. I've seen things about my husband. I've seen things about my kids on it. I was like, awful things. And I used to read it just to make sure that there was nothing about them. And then I went, why am I doing this? Like, you have to stop. So I'm pretty good at kind of drawing a line. And I'm the same with people. I can distance, I can actually close the door and it doesn't, and I'll never feel bad about the person, but I'm just like,
it's over.
I need to stand away. It's over for me. And if it's over for me, it's over for me.
Yeah.
Like there's no going back.
I think it's healthy.
Yeah. And I also don't have a good memory. So I won't remember why I closed the door on you, but I'll know I did. I'll feel, but I won't know why.
No, you're right. I had a client who
that's where my memory's really good.
She was doing modeling and she was like, okay, so I'm doing this modeling, and she would go on like on the Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and it would be like, oh, everybody was so positive, but there was like these 3 people, and she could say exactly what they said verbatim, and I'm like, okay, this is where you have to say like, the majority says this and these people say that, but it's so hard to do that because you can't absorb it.
Yeah, and I think the things people often say about you are sometimes the things you think about yourself anyway.
Right.
Do you know the way? And somebody kind of points them out, so you kind of go, that's exactly the way.
No, I think it comes from a point of insecurity. I mean, that's what makes us human. And so I think that those, when you see, but again, when I go back to it, anonymous, if you can't say it with your name.
But even
then it's just BS.
But even when they say it with their names, like if it's on like Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, you're like, okay, well, I don't know this person, but they're like literally cutting me to the core.
But I think that I think that what Lisa said is so valid. Like if they were saying something that you knew were like, whatever, like that's insanity, and you just move past. Right. But if it hits something, because we all do have insecurities,
of course,
and it doesn't have to make sense to other people. It's like, it's our journey and whatever. But if they any way nick that little insecurity is when that starts to blossom. Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's just, again, it's just us being human, but my God, they're just such assholes.
And I feel like for you too, it's like going from like people coming at you or saying things about you versus your kids. That's a whole different level. It's a whole different level.
Awful. Wake mama bear.
That is a legit
We're
thing.
all the time about our kids.
So how do you deal with that? Because you're looking at,
again, as we were saying, when they're anonymous stuff, it's never true anyway. So
they're trolls.
They're just trolls. So that kind of thing. But you do, I think you always want to defend your kids, or I feel like go the opposite though with the kids sometimes. So if somebody says something that isn't true about them, I probably get overly sensitive, go, no, you can't do that. You have to like, to a point that they can't actually be themselves. Maybe sometimes I'm like, no, don't do that. Or like always look like you're happy, or, and then I'm like, why bother? Yes. Like, it doesn't matter, because you can still be the nicest kid in the world, and
there's just miserable people out there, and negative will always try and bring out negative.
Well, and they don't really know your kids. Like, that's the thing, they don't know you.
They're sitting on a couch. They're like, look at this. They probably haven't spoken to someone
like their shirt, whatever,
face to face in 20 years.
Well, first of all, they're known enough to even be on a forum, so that's kind of cool right there.
Well, there's
when they're talking about it, they weren't aggressive.
This is so funny. When I was a news reporter, I used to go and listen to the voicemails. This is probably going to be bad, but I used to go.
There's no such thing here.
Yeah. So we don't have like, obviously, like phones and social media stuff, but it was like, they're like, I don't like her shirt. Why does she wear that color dress? Her hair doesn't look good today. And I'm like, it wasn't about the productivity, like what I was saying.
No, it's all visual. It's all superficial.
Like, I don't like her hair. I don't like her dress. Why is she like standing like that? Why is she standing over this half of the map, but not that half of the map? Because I was doing weather. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is like not even about anything I'm doing. Like, I can't win.
But can you imagine?
You can't win.
Like, so,
but now it's like tenfold, right?
Yeah. But just think about, like, okay, so the 4 of us, we wouldn't even really think about that if we were watching the newscast. So like, think about that person and their mindset, that's what they feel justified.
You would be surprised.
No, and I mean,
it's
I'm
like,
sure.
I don't like her outfit. She's showing too much of this. She's doing this. She's it's ridiculous.
So ridiculous. That there's somebody that literally just feels entitled to sit there and judge someone that is giving the news or the weather or singing or whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
And is judging, but based on something that's not even relevant to what they're doing.
Well, and you're 21 years old, you're a perfectionist, and you're on a newscast, right? At 21, you're like, oh gosh.
Which is huge. Perfect. Like that in itself is so amazing.
Then you're like listening to everything and you're like, what can I control? Oh gosh, they don't like my hair. They don't like my makeup. They don't like my shirt. They don't like when I wear blue. They don't like, and
that's why I'm.
How do you make everybody happy?
And to be fair, it plays into your head until 100%. You get to a certain age that you can.
That's what I was like. Yeah.
You can clap back, and I did it once. I've only done it once.
I was not able to do that back then, but yes.
No, you wouldn't.
No,
people used to, and then you try and change yourself. Then
100%.
And you're going, why am I doing that?
Because then you're going to make somebody else say like,
exactly.
"Oh, I'm sorry, I would prefer her in blue. Exactly. I want her to stand on that side of the stage." But I do
brown
think
hair, not blonde hair,
right? Yes. As we've said so many times, that middle age-ish, like that's one of the things. One of the many things, but one of the top things that I'm so thankful for is I don't care.
Yeah.
I will hear some comments and there's moments where I'm like, but when I wake up the next day, I'm like, no, I know exactly who I am and I'm not going to make everybody happy and I'm not going to look, of course people are going to say things, but that's the blessing. Because when you're young, like you don't have that confidence. Yeah.
And I feel so bad for our kids now because they get it tenfold.
So much worse than when we grew up.
I think you have to be like at a point to where you can kind of balance, like obviously you want to be able to hear input, because we do things wrong. But as far as like somebody making fun of what you're wearing or hair, you know
that's constructive.
That's not that's somebody not confident in themselves.
But
right, doing that. Confident people aren't going to bash on.
No, 1,000%. Nope.
But I'd love to know how you dealt with it because like I was like at a small, you know what I mean? I'm in a small market and people are talking about my hair and what I'm wearing and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm on the news. This is ridiculous. But how did you deal with that?
There was two incidents. Like, so one was in Celtic Woman where we used to do meet and greets after every show, but there was 5 girls at the time. So if you were doing a meet and greet after the show, people would pay extra for a meet and greet.
Right.
But when there's 5 girls, 5 Irish chatty girls, those meet and greets could go on forever. And you could go into some places and you'd have 100 people or you could have 150 and you've already done a 2.5 hour show.
Right.
It was exhausting. So what we did was we started like 2 girls and then the next night be 3 girls.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was on this meet and greet one night and this man walked in and he looked at me and he went, oh, not you again. I was looking for Mairead. And I looked at him and I went, not you again. I thought George Clooney would be here.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love you. But it was just Lisa Kelly.
So pissed off. I was like, oh my God, you actually think I want to be sitting here with you as well.
Yeah.
So
You're like,
whatever.
We're done.
And then I was like, you paid to be here.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
But then the second time was actually worse because I was older and I just moved to Peachtree City and I was the mascot for the Peachtree City 4th of July parade. Yeah, now I hate things like this. So I really, really, contrary to popular belief, I don't like to be in the spotlight at all. So like, I don't like I just don't hate it. I'll run from the photos, a pure bar. I don't want to be in the middle of anything. So anyway,
but you're so fabulous at it, but I get it.
But I agreed to do it because I kind of felt browbeaten into doing it. I did not want to do it at all. So I was already a mess. I had just had Harry. So Harry was about a year old and we had just opened the Voice Academy. So it was a good business kind of opportunity. So I had to go find something red. I hate red. So I had to go find some red anyway. So I found this lovely red dress as much as like, I don't like wearing red dresses. So there was a picture of me standing beside the car and a photo and I posted it on my Facebook page. And this man, and I was already in the horrors. It was an awful day. Didn't want to be there. This man went, oh, the Southern cooking is obviously working wonders on her. And I was still nursing at the time, so my boobs were massive. Yeah. And it's my 4th child. I hadn't lost the baby weight or whatever. Not that that's an excuse. So anyway, boy, did he get, he got a page long.
I am so
good from me. And
good.
He was this big, fat, roundy old man that I'd never even heard of before. So he'd never even, he'd never been on my algorithm. Yeah, I'd never seen him before.
Never followed you.
So I basically went through not pouring my heart and soul out, but I was like, look, you got me and I'm really strong and I'm really confident and this didn't bother me. But I do want you to know that if you do this to somebody else, this could be detrimental to somebody else. Don't be a dick. And basically that was the crux of it.
Don't be a dick.
I'm telling you, we are going to have t-shirts. Don't be a dick.
He responded. I felt like such a tool afterwards because he responded. He went, oh, wow. I can't believe you replied. Michelle Obama and Beyonce didn't reply when I sent it to them. I was like,
but still,
that was such a waste.
You know what?
I felt a little bit better.
That's the problem with
but as a psychologist, people and I know this, they hold on, they can tell me everything negative said to them ever in their lifetime. But the good things, I'm like, okay, well, what teacher, what person said anything good to you? They're like, I don't know. Because like the good just goes in and out.
No, but that's so true.
Bad,
it's like in customer
stick.
service. Like someone will post about a negative experience someplace, but you could have 20 positives.
Yeah.
And that's fine. People don't post about it, but you had had a positive experience. But if they have a negative, it is like they will jump down your throat and think
I agree, but I've realized, and I don't know if you know this, and you guys the same way, but people who are negative, they're going to post, and people who had positive experiences,
because that's the world that they choose to live in. Yes. If they want to see positive, then that's their normal, that's their life. And if someone lives in negativity, then that's their life, and negativity will because negativity kind of wants to be at the forefront.
Absolutely.
Like they want to be the one speaking and expressing and drawing attention to the negativity, where positivity is, that's just the world I live in, and I love it. And I think they're fabulous. And that was a great, like, I loved that dinner, but I don't need to post about it because it's just fabulous.
I agree. And that's why I look at, like, when I look at reviews, even for my company, I look at Google reviews. I'm like, okay, well, people who are negative, they're always going to be like, oh, this was like, happy. They were 5 minutes late or whatever. It was
give
so
them
bad. Yes.
rainbows and unicorns every single day, delivered by Santa and the elves, and they will absolutely rip you apart.
Well, have you ever looked, if you see a negative review of a business, and you can look and see that person's Google reviews, and they're usually
all negative.
They leave all negative.
But 1,000%. You're right, but people don't look at that, and they're just like, oh wow, this place sucks, and you're like, oh yeah, no,
I know. I do hope that more people really think twice about, and I'm not saying that negative reviews are not valid. I think that there are some that are, but come from a place of like, let's just look in and get some more information, and let's not just take this one thing. Because
honestly, if you've had a good review, post it.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, that you could never make them
never
happy.
Be
and I'm not just saying that because I'm in customer service. No. It's just, I've been doing this for so long.
You're right.
That you have to, like, I wish that more people took the reviews and like just did their research or like tried to go and get their own experience from it, and not just be like, well, I'm not going to go there because that's what this person said. That person is probably a walking nightmare.
Well, and the people that post are the negative ones. It's like people like, oh, I had the best experience ever. It's people who are like, oh, this.
Because I think sometimes when you go someplace and it's so amazing, you just think that that's where they are and they're so great. And you're like, my God, this place is fantastic.
Exactly.
You don't think, oh, I've got to let every single person know in the world, which the positive reviews are fantastic.
Yeah, they're so supportive.
But I just wish that more people
would research.
did research, because a lot of those negative reviews are.
I actually never read reviews on anywhere.
I'm a review reader.
And sometimes we'll get reviews and we're like, you weren't even at our business ever. So I have no idea.
I had one as well. I remember one negative review.
Or they're going to review.
Who are you?
They're going to review you because you didn't give them their way. Yeah. Like, I've gotten that a couple times where like they want to leave a really nasty review, but it was because we didn't give in to their demands. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer that you don't make exceptions. You treat everybody the same. So scream and yell at a 19-year-old is not going to get you your way. No. And then they leave a nasty review, and you're just like, okay, but it's not in my policy. It never has been.
No.
Ever.
There are rules, right?
Yeah. Right. So
I'll never forget.
Just follow the rules.
So
it's all good.
When I first had my first job, I was 15. I worked at Macy's, and I worked in the hosiery department. And this lady comes back in and she's like, oh, I need to return these pantyhose because they were ripped. And so I was like, oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. How can I help you? And so I opened up the pantyhose, and they have literally, I used to put red.
To stop the nail polish to stop the run.
There was red nail polish everywhere. And I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am.
You're like, I'm sorry, we don't sell red.
I can't return these because they have red nail polish everywhere.
Right, they've been worn multiple times. Yes.
And she's like, I didn't do that. They came like that. And so I was like, okay, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I have to call my manager. So I call my manager, and I'm like thinking, yes, I've got them. You know how you're like, yes. Yeah. And the manager's like, oh, okay, yes, ma'am, we'll take these back. And I literally looked at her, and I was like, you are the devil. Yeah. I looked at her like,
it's the exact reason that I have never.
There's 10 things of nail polish on the pantyhose. I kid you not. This is a true story. And I'm like, and to that day, I was like, okay, I just give up.
And I tell my girls all the time, and I don't know if they're listening to this, but if you are, now you know why I've said this. is because when you make exceptions, that happen. There's no rules.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can, like if you make exceptions, there actually is no rules and there's no standard and there's no boundaries.
We learned our lesson in parenting with that.
That's what I say to my parents.
And so like my girls know if when they say what our policies are, and someone will always say, I would like to speak to your manager or whatever.
Then comes Ashley.
I say the exact same thing. And that's what I always tell people is like, the thing is, you would hate me more if you're on the other side of this and that I didn't let you return this. And then you came in and you heard me and you saw that I did return something very similar.
Exactly.
I was like, that's actually the worst customer service ever is when you pick and choose who you think is more important than the rules.
Or who's the loudest, who's the rudest.
I mean, if I was to ever, and I've said this so many times over the years, if I was to ever, which I'm not, but if I was to ever make an exception, it would be for the sweet person to be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that was your policy. I didn't read my receipt. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
That's the person, if I was to do it, that I would do it for, other than the one who's cussing out a 19-year-old because they wouldn't return something because it had been worn. The tags are off. They don't have a receipt.
With red fingernail polish.
Right, with red fingernail polish. And literally is having a conniption fit on a person who's just there trying to get through college.
Yeah. Well, and for your people, I mean, goodness, like you're there getting paid, whatever, but like you're there to like support the rules. So then if like they're supporting the rules and you come up and you're like, oh yeah, we're taking it back. Well, like what does that tell them?
They have no faith in the company.
Yeah.
Like it's,
and like people in general, like the rules should be followed. And as we all know, the rules are not in this society followed.
And that's the problem. Don't be a dick.
So don't be a dick.
That's literally
I am telling you, if I could put that, if I could sell that in the store, I would make the biggest display.
We're gonna make shirts
front and center.
Ashley, we're making shirts that we're gonna sell.
With Trish's graphics, I can just imagine.
Oh my God, it's going to be seriously hashtag lovely. Don't be a dick.
Our personal lizard ticket is going to be there.
We are not going to abbreviate. It is going to be spelled out boldly. Don't be a dick.
See, I picture like asterisks of you're like going on full on DICK.
Yes.
I might even have some emojis. The screaming one that has the blanked out mouth.
I love it.
Don't be an egg fan.
Oh my God. No, I literally just want don't be a dick.
Okay, we that's our first merch, guys.
Okay, I'll wear my W Dick shirt next week for you though.
We're going to get our merch.
I am telling you.
Hey, you need to sell them in your store because I'm telling you, they will
just imagine
I know. I was like, I am a franchise and I think the franchisor might have a problem, but I can do it on a table out front of my store.
I can do it. I can do it in the parking lot.
I think, why cannot, okay, hold on a second. Why can we not post a t-shirt on our website?
I agree. Let's do
after this. I'm envisioning it already.
I'm telling you, after this post,
middle AGEish, don't be a dick.
I'm telling you, like after this post, let's do it
100%.
Let's sell it on the website. We would be surprised. It's going to take over the world. It's going to change.
We're retiring off our don't be a dick.
It doesn't work when I wear it though. I have to maybe wear it outside my house.
I'll wear it. 100%.
I was like, Lisa,
I'll wear it.
I was like, I will totally wear it.
I can't imagine wearing
in my stilettos, my super long blonde hair.
And they'll be like,
don't be a dick.
They'll be like, I get it.
I will absolutely freaking wear this t-shirt.
Yes, especially in couples therapy. I can be like, oh, I'm wearing this shirt.
Oh my God. I'm gonna actually wear it so proud.
Yes,
we are doing this. We are actually gonna sell these t-shirts.
We have to think about an episode title. We've already got that for this one.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Okay, I love it.
Let's go.
I love how our dogs just go in such random. Because I mean, what people don't realize is that before we came on the air, we're like, because we talked for like an hour and a half.
We talked for nearly 2 hours.
For nearly 2 hours, just catching up and chit-chatting. And we come on the air and we're like, what are we going to talk about?
Don't be a dick.
And now we have an entire merch line coming out. So fabulous. It's why I love you guys so much.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Trisha, what do I feel like you want to say something.
I'm playing it in my head. Don't be a dick. I'm just
all right, guys.
I'm designing right now.
We're doing it.
I literally cannot wait.
To do it.
I swear to God, I'm going to wear it proud. I cannot wait. I think the world needs more T-shirts that say "Don't be a dick."
I agree.
And that way, if someone comes up and is actually a dick, just point to your shirt. You don't even have to engage.
Well, that's what I do in my house. I literally wear it when they come home from dance, and I stand at the front door. I just go.
Have you guys seen? Speaking of like telling people what you think. Those like lights you put in the car that can be like it like is a hand, and so it's like you put on like the back of your car, and it's like a LED, and it's like a hand, but then it does different fingers, and you can push it on a remote in your car, so you can like give some peace sign, thumbs up, bird. Yes.
Okay, that would be dangerous for me.
Actually, just be hitting birds.
I would just
be. Can I just tell everybody to F off? Like just, seriously.
So I have a funny one. So for my client, I was like, so what are you going to be for Halloween? She's like, I'm going to be an a-hole. I was like, oh, okay. Ooh. How are you going to be an a-hole? Yeah. She's like, I'm just going to put a mirror. I'm going to wear a mirror. I'm going as a mirror. And they're like, oh my God, who are you? And she's like, I'm an a-hole. I'm you. And I was like, I've never heard that in my entire life.
I've never heard that one before.
Like, brilliant.
Okay, so she's thought through that process.
I was like, oh, you've thought through that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Did Halloween come from Ireland?
Yes.
So how
did
is
it
that
really? Yeah. It was a pagan celebration.
I was just like, is it the Druids?
Yeah. It was the pagan. Yeah, there was. Well done. Well, no, I think it was before the Druids. It was a pagan celebration. So it still is a pagan celebration, which is kind of crazy here in the South.
Right. Where children are out like getting candy and like dancing.
Okay.
Yes. So we would have like in Ireland, we would do the same thing, but we didn't like when I was growing up, you didn't really get that much candy. You'd get a few, but you'd get fruit as well. And you'd get, you know the nuts you get in Five Guys?
Oh yeah.
I haven't been to Five Guys.
Nuts. I don't know what you call them.
In like forever.
What you call like just peanuts. They're peanuts.
Oh, the peanuts. Like the boiled peanuts.
Yeah, the ones that you break up.
We'd get those and you'd get money sometimes and then we go home and have a big party.
So no, it's so funny because I was in Australia.
Yeah. They don't celebrate it.
No. And it was Halloween.
They do now,
and there was
they didn't.
One or two people and they were like looking at me like I was like, oh.
We were there for Halloween one year.
Hi, I'm here. They're like, what are you talking about? I was like, it's Halloween. Like,
okay, so for the pagans, so like how did that become a celebration? Like what is the pagans, like what do they celebrate?
I don't know. I should really do my homework on it because
I'm going to totally go down this deep dive and I'm going to
because tomorrow is All Souls Day.
Right. No, I've heard of that, but I've heard it from New Orleans, so I didn't really I had no idea that it came from Ireland. Okay.
So also I'm wondering if like it might have been a celebration of the dead on the 31st. And then the first was All Souls Day, or they murdered people on the 31st. This is how dark I'm going, that they may have murdered people on the 31st. And then the next day was we say All Saints Days, but it's All Souls Day.
Yeah,
on the
November
1st.
Yeah,
because I'm going to have to like look into that. Like what did the pagans, like who do they worship? Like nobody.
They're pagans.
See, that's what I'm,
they don't worship anything. No, like,
but then how did they worship Halloween? Like, what? They
didn't. I think it was like I don't know. I don't know whether I'm making it up, and someone's going to tell me I'm wrong. Probably, and I probably.
Well, we're wrong about a lot of stuff,
but I don't know whether they may have burned the Christians.
Amazing.
Okay. I don't know though. Yeah. Like there has to be some Halloween. Sort of. We did. Well, we always had Halloween in Ireland. Yes, always. Halloween was huge.
Oh, really?
Huge. And then on the 5th of
and that's
November,
where like all the costumes came. Like you, so you dressed up in something different.
Dressed up.
Yeah. Really?
What did you dress up as?
Madonna every year.
Oh, that was such a good one.
We're like Madonna for everything.
I was like Madonna.
Oh my God. I dressed up as Madonna at school. That was not Halloween for me. I was like just cool and
big. Halloween was always
huge.
Big there?
Oh yeah, really? Always huge. Yeah,
was it everywhere in Europe?
No, I don't think so. And I don't even know if it's that big in England.
Because it was not
huge.
It was not in Australia at all.
No. I know. Yeah, we were there one year and nobody was dressed up.
Nobody.
I don't know if it's huge in England. I think it is huge in England now, but I don't know if it was when we were growing up because on the 5th of November they have Guy Fawkes Night, which is a bonfire night. So he blew up the House
he's the
of
one
Parliament.
he's the one that blew up.
So they have fireworks and bonfires that night, but fireworks are banned in Ireland,
y'all did Halloween.
Allowed to have them.
Y'all did Halloween.
Yes.
Oh, yes, cool.
We always did Halloween. Yeah, bonfires. Actually, now that's a question I have for all my fellow Americans here. What makes fireworks patriotic?
I think it's like the explosions, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole like
That's how they when they would burn the ships or they would blow up the armories and stuff like that.
When there was a wind, there was a big.
I feel like we should know this actually.
Yeah. Well, but I do feel like they would when the opposing armies would come through and whatever side you were on here,
the whole
you would
cannon.
you would blow up the armories. Like you would like that was your celebration of taking the person that other side down is like you would blow up all of their.
I don't think it was a firework. I think it was a cannon more likely, but that's what
the fireworks are supposed to represent.
I think
because I was on one of the local pages and they were like, "This is so unfair to the dogs." Which is true. It is so unfair to the poor dogs. Yeah, but then all these people were coming
it really
back on this is patriotic. This
mine
is who we are.
to be absolutely medicated. Forever. And it really is traumatic. And also you hear about
PTSD.
The PTSD and the servicemen and stuff. Yeah. But it's I don't know. I've always heard it was based on the opposing army would come through and blow up the armory of the person that they were taking over. Okay. So it would take all of their ammunition and their all that stuff out. And it would be these huge explosions. Yeah.
We do so much PTSD in my office. EMDR, brain spotting.
That's why we did it when the kids were little and we thought it was great until I did a little bit more research and especially with the animals and then the servicemen and first responders that have PTSD. It's like so traumatic for
just so people know, EMDR and brain spotting are the two number one things to help for PTSD.
Yeah,
and we do them in our office, but I'm like, it's really. You have to be trained to do that kind of trauma. It's so. I just
wish people really didn't need to do them anymore. I think for one short little moment of celebration, it does do a lot of damage, and you can celebrate whatever it is, 4th of July or whatever you can.
Especially because the animals get
you can celebrate it in so many different ways and not.
See, I'm so traditional. I don't even like the loud noises that have to cover my ears, but I think it's so good that day. But it's maybe good to do it kind of a set period of time. That way, everybody knows this happening.
It's happening, and they're not going
right. So they can medicate
the dogs up.
Yeah, because there's some people that'll do it at 1 and 2 a.m. And it's just it's trauma for the animals and those that suffer for 24 to 48 hours, depending on when the holiday lands on what that day is. Yeah. So everybody out there, please be mindful.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Oh my God. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a
dick.
We're
making the shirts.
I love it.
Just cheers to that.
Cheers, everybody. Don't be a dick. Oh, I love it.
Thank you for joining the ladies of the Middle AGEish podcast as they journey through the ups and downs of this not young, but definitely not old season of life. To hear past episodes or make suggestions for future episodes, visit www.middleageish.com. That's www.middleageish.com. You can follow along on social media at Middle AGEish. Also, if you have a moment to leave a review, rate, and subscribe, that helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Middle AGEish podcast.